Let's look at a typical scenario involving sprinkler operations. Here, we see one of the first arriving engines being assigned to supply the sprinkler SIAMESE. Every sprinkler system should be required to have a fire department connection, or SIAMESE. The automatic sprinkler system has been activated, and each sprinkler head that is flowing at 50 psi will deliver about 40 gallons per minute, or GPM. If the first arriving companies connect to a hydrant on the same main that feeds the sprinkler system and start supplying hand lines, pressure to the sprinkler heads will drop. If the sprinkler pressure drops to 5 psi at the heads, the flow will be reduced to 10 GPM. Think about that. It would be as if you were just holding your own with the 2.5-inch line when the chief orders you to switch to a 60-gallon per minute 1.5 inch. That's the effect we would have on a sprinkler system when we hook up to the same main. We start to compete for the same water supply, and eventually we compromise the effectiveness of the entire system. That leads to another factor: high carbon monoxide levels. Sprinklers cause incomplete combustion, increasing carbon monoxide production. Just like a fire in the smoldering stage, a fire that has been knocked down but not extinguished puts out tremendous amounts of carbon monoxide. Your crews have to wear their masks at all times until CO meters tell you it's safe to remove them. Just because there's not a raging inferno does not mean the air is not deadly. I don't care how tough you think you are, CO is tougher. I hate seeing interior crews operating at any stage of a fire with their SCBA face pieces dangling down by their knees. Use all your safety gear. It's already bought and paid for. It's not like you're being charged by the bottle for air. Another problem of fighting fires in sprinkler buildings that sometimes occurs is when the sprinklers begin to operate after we have already begun our interior attack. This can be very dangerous. It usually happens in buildings that only have partial sprinkler systems. If you have to force the door, make sure you document it in writing to the building's owners, especially if it's a false alarm. So, back to size-up operations at sprinkler buildings. Once you have determined that there is a sprinkler system and it is functioning, you should send a 2-person team to the controls. Those controls are usually located near the outside signs of the sprinkler system, like the SIAMESE and the water motor gong. This is not always the case, though, and some control valves are located 15 to 20 feet above the floor. If there are any building maintenance personnel around, ask them. They probably know right where to send that crew. A good pre-plan of the building that includes the location of the sprinkler control valves can save valuable time when working an actual fire. Once the team arrives at the controls, they need to be able to identify and operate the main components of the valve and pipe system. The most common type of sprinkler system control is the OS&Y valve. It is usually found at the base of the riser. There will be a hand wheel attached to the valve that will allow you to open or close the valve manually. Turn the wheel to the left or counterclockwise and the valve will open, and to the right or clockwise to close. When turning the hand wheel, make note of the center stem. As the valve opens, this stem protrudes out about the same thickness as the diameter of the pipe below it. As the valve closes, this stem recedes back into the valve and will only protrude about 1/4 inch or less when fully closed.